Hello, my name is Carolyn Jay and I work for Hampshire County Council's Construction Skills Fund. Thank you for joining us today on this webinar about how to get into construction. In the next 30 minutes you're going to learn a little bit about how the Construction Skills Fund works and what it might be able to do for you. I'll check in with you at the end of the webinar to see if you've decided whether this might be just the job for you. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to our webinar on the Construction Skills Fund, a programme by Hampshire County Council's Skills and Participation Department, which has been running since January 2019 and is available until March 2021. In this webinar, we'll be discussing what the Construction Skills Fund is, what it covers and how it could work for you.
The Construction Skills Fund is part of a national programme. It's run by the CITB, which stands for Construction Industry Training Board, and it's paid for by the government. Our role in the programme is to help people find their way into the world of construction through training programmes, and then after the courses we support them with finding work opportunities.
We've trained over 1,000 people so far, and many of those people went on to find careers in the industry. They're maintaining their income whilst growing in their exciting and varied roles. We had such a successful first year on the Construction Skills Fund that we were awarded funding to train another 750 learners. Perhaps it could be the right career move for you.
Well, I hope to go into carpentry. Hopefully become a labourer and look for work.
I'm really interested in plumbing.
I'm kind of like umming and ahhing about becoming an electrician.
The CSCS card is a basic qualification recognised throughout the industry and enables you to work on a construction site. These trainees have all gained their CSCS cards after completing free training with Hampshire County Council.
So the Construction Skills Fund is an initiative from the CITB and the Department for Education to get more people into the construction industry to fill the skills shortage. Hampshire County Council bid for just under £1 million to get new entrants into pre-employment training, such as general construction, plant machinery and highways. In Hampshire, we have a unique opportunity to get this training delivered across 5 key sites.
And I went to the job centre to ask about a CSCS course and they referred me to PCMI.
I heard about it through my work coach. Yeah, he said he thought I'd be good at it.
Well, I got referred here by my yacht worker and she was saying it's opened some good opportunities.
I sort of jumped at the chance to get that CSCS card because it opens doors.
There is a need for a diverse range of people to enter the industry as a result of the growing amount of developments in all areas across the country and the shortage of the right skills at the right level.
By the end of the 2 weeks training with us, they can then sit the CSCS card. They'll get their initial green labourer's card, which means from that point they're accepted on any building site.
My best highlight was doing the CPR first aid training and the bricklaying.
I've really enjoyed the practical work, mainly the bricklaying.
Well, I think the best thing was first aid and the CPR training.
They get the opportunity to try something they maybe had not thought of before, or something that they wanted to get into but unfortunately just didn't know how to open the door. At the end of this course, hopefully everybody leaves with a pass.
The most surprising thing I found doing this course is probably the diversity and how much it's changed on the construction sites.
Go for it. Yeah, you'll be supported, welcomed, and yeah, you'll get all the encouragement you need to get into the work you want.
If you do this course, you could potentially change your life in a short time.
I want to make construction a career, so yeah, I'm in it for life now.
You'll hear us talk about CSCS a lot in this presentation, but you may not know what it is and why you need it. A CSCS card is essentially a passport, but for the construction industry. It's a minimum requirement that anybody needs to have before they can get onto site. It tells employers that you know how to work safely and that your knowledge has been tested, they can trust you to be on site in the right way. CSCS stands for the Construction Skills Certification Scheme. Depending on your level of working history in construction and if you have a specialist trade or profession, you will be awarded a specific colour and type of CSCS card. There's different cards for apprentices, labourers, skilled tradespeople, managers and professional qualifications like architects. However, they all sit the same exam and earn their CSCS card. The green labourer card is the most common card, and it's what we see the vast majority of our learners achieve. CSCS cards are regulated by the Construction Industry Training Board, or CITB for short. The CITB are a national body who are responsible for standards and training in construction across the UK. They support both employers and employees in the industry with skills development. Their work helps British construction to remain at a world-class standard, whilst ensuring that career opportunities are always growing. The CITB are accountable to and funded by the government.
We're now going to watch a video by CITB about health and safety measures on the typical construction site.
Construction is an exciting industry. It is constantly changing as projects move on and jobs get done. As a result of this, a construction site is one of the most dangerous environments to work in. But many accidents that occur on sites can be avoided. So in this film, find out what the site must do and what you must do to stay healthy and safe at work. When you arrive for your first day on a site, it won't be the first day for everyone. Before any work begins, the site management team will have been planning and preparing the site for your arrival. It is their job to ensure that you can do your job safely and efficiently. So what are 5 key things the site should do for you? When you arrive, you should be greeted and welcomed by someone on site. And if you're not, then make your presence known to site management. You need to know who is in charge, and they need to know who is working on or visiting their site. You may be asked to sign in, or report to someone in charge when you arrive. You should also let someone know or sign out if you're leaving. Once you've introduced yourself, you will be given a site induction. This is a legal requirement to give you basic information so that you can work safely on site. You may be asked to watch a video or look at a presentation. It is important that you understand what is said during the induction. If there's something you're not sure about, don't be afraid to ask for more information. If you have not been to the site for a while, you need to be sure that you're up to date. Check with site management whether you need a briefing or a further induction. Whether you're just starting out or have decades of experience, every job is different. So it's very important that the site induction is specific to your site. You should be told about any specific areas of danger and what site rules are in place to control these. You will be told who the managers are on site and what arrangements are in place for emergencies. You will also find out what to do if there is a fire or if you need to sound an alarm. It may sound basic, but there must be good welfare facilities. You must also be able to take a break somewhere that is warm and dry. Evidence shows that there are fewer incidents and accidents on sites where the workers are actively involved in health and safety. Your opinions and ideas are important, so make them heard. Whatever the size of your site, there should be many opportunities to do this. For example, directly with managers through a daily briefing or through suggestion boxes. Managers should let you know how best to do this on your site. Construction sites are constantly changing, and unplanned activities can be a major cause of accidents. The more up to date you are about what's happening on site, the more you can understand the dangers. The best sites keep their people informed on daily activities. Is there a hazards board on your site? Is it regularly updated? Your site management must be telling you what's going on a regular basis. So, to recap, your site must know when you are on site, give you a site induction, give you site-specific information, encourage communication, and keep you up to date. Your site should be doing all it can to keep you and your colleagues safe. If it isn't, say something and work together to make it better. Site management will have planned ahead to make work on site as safe as possible for you. But once the work begins, it's up to every individual to take responsibility for carrying out the plan safely. This means following the guidelines set out, but also means being alert to the continuing changes on site. So what will the site expect from you? Site rules are there to minimise the risk of particularly hazardous activities, such as moving vehicles and handling flammable substances. Moving traffic on site is a major cause of accidents, so often rules will cover issues like how to walk through the site, where to park, and how to behave when you see a moving vehicle. They will also tell you things like where you can smoke and remind you to tidy equipment away when it is not in use. These may feel restrictive, but they've been put in place for a reason. If that reason is not clear to you, ask for more information. Otherwise, follow the rules to stay safe. Every task carried out on a site is unique and will have its own dangers, for instance, working at height or manual handling. The site management team will put in place a plan to avoid or minimise the dangers before the start of work. The plan may be written down in a risk assessment, a method statement, or a task sheet. This will tell you what to do, the skills needed, what to wear, what tools to use, and what the dangers are. You should contribute to the planning process using your experience and knowledge. For example, before working at height, which is a high-risk activity, you must consider: is the access suitable for what you need to do? Do you have the right tools? Do you have the right protective equipment? Does it fit? And is it comfortable? Once you're at work, you must apply your training, skills, and common sense to your tasks at all times. For example, if you're building a wall, you may have to move heavy loads, but you must not put your health and body in danger to do this. Make sure you move the load as safely as possible, as you will have been trained to do. And if you're not sure how to, then you must ask for advice. Equally, it is important to be aware of the dangers to those around you. For example, if someone working with you is not wearing the correct protective equipment for a certain activity, tell them so. Acting responsibly will benefit both you and your colleagues. In our industry, saying no is not easy. We are fixers and doers. We can do. However, a significant number of accidents on sites happen when people are doing things that they are not comfortable with. For example, many workers have been harmed by not knowing how to identify asbestos. If you think there's any likelihood that there may be asbestos present where you are working, you must stop work and seek advice. If you're not properly trained, equipped or briefed, or if the situation around you changes, the result could be an accident. Trust your instinct. If things feel beyond your control or dangerous, or if you see someone else working unsafely, stop the work immediately and inform site management why you have done so. You might prevent an injury or save a life. Your employer should be supportive if you do this, because you have the right to say no and a responsibility to not walk by. If your job requires you to have specific training to enable you to do it safely, then it is your employer's responsibility to provide it. But to really get the best out of your career, you should keep learning about developments in machinery, equipment, regulations and training. This will not only give you greater confidence and understanding, but will also ensure you remain healthy and safe. So, to recap, you must respect site rules, safely prepare each task, do each task responsibly, know when to stop, and keep learning. Construction is so much more than bricks and mortar. The work we do improves the world around us. It's time for us to work together to build a safer and better industry.
So now you've watched the CITB's video all about health and safety in construction, let's see how you'd fare with the CSCS test.
We're now going to go through 3 questions at a time from the real CSCS exam. We're not expecting you to be experts at this, so don't worry if you get them wrong. It's just to give you an example of what to expect from one of our courses. CSCS is a really important element. It features in all of our courses, so it's important that learners know what to expect. Pens and paper at the ready, please. We'll be asking 3 questions at a time, and they're all multiple choice. So just write the lettered answer you think is correct from the options given, and then we'll go through the answers at the end.
A large fire has been reported, but you've not been trained to use fire extinguishers. What should you do? A. Go straight to the fire assembly point. B. Leave work for the day. C. Put all your tools away and then go to the assembly point. Or D. Report to the site office and then go home.
What does the word hazard mean? A. The site accident rate. B. A type of barrier or machine guard. C. The likelihood that something might happen. Or D. Anything at work that could harm you.
Who should attend a site induction? A. Only supervisors. B. Only operatives. C. Everyone going on site. Or D. Only architects.
Let's see how you did. The answers to that round were: question 1 was answer A. You would go straight to the fire assembly point in the event of a fire. Question 2 was D, A hazard is anything that may harm you or anybody in any way. Question 3 was answer C. Everyone going on a site needs to attend an induction.
So, how was that? Let's take a break from quizzing for a second and meet one of our previous learners from last year.
Natalie had worked as a carer for 10 years before thinking of changing industries. She made the huge sideways step into construction through one of our courses and is now a fully qualified machine operator and dumper driver. She's keen to earn more tickets to take on new specialisms. Her new manager at Mildren says he sees huge potential in her to one day end up in site management. Natalie thanks the CSF programme for the changes it's made to her life.
Which types of accidents should be recorded in the accident book? A. Only accidents where the injured person has had to stop working. B. Only injuries requiring hospital treatment. C. Only specified injuries such as a broken arm or death of a person. Or D. All accidents causing an injury.
You suspect someone on site has been drinking and is over the alcohol limit. What should you do? A. Get them to eat and drink something, wait 30 minutes, then go back to work. B. Ask them to stay away for an hour, then come back to work. C. Get them to drink lots of strong coffee before they get back to work. Or D. Tell them your concerns and see that they are safely removed from the site.
What are the two conditions for being able to operate plant on site? You need to pick two answers. A. You must hold a British passport. B. You must be authorised. C. You must hold a full driving licence. D. You must be over 21 years old. E. You must be trained and competent.
The answer to question 4 was D. All accidents and injuries go in the accident book. The answer to question 5 was D. Tell them it's not safe and inform your supervisor. Question 6, B and E. Plant operators must be authorised and trained and competent.
At 47, Cliff had been unemployed for several years and had battled a drug addiction for 30 years. He ended up in hospital for a long time, and after getting out, he then lived at the night shelter in Winchester. They were the ones who referred him to our courses. Cliff settled in quickly to the 3-week, part-time course, didn't miss a single session. He impressed the managers at the Wilmot Dixon site he was training at, and was soon offered a role as a general labourer with them. He was supported by his employers with his important methadone treatments, and he's been a consistent, reliable and impressive worker since. He started with them as the site's general labourer, but he's since been promoted to site handyman. His manager, Malcolm Downton, says Cliff's training set him up for the job, but it was his own personal attitude that made all the difference. With his reliable employment, Cliff now rents his own flat and is in a great place for the first time in a long time.
What is the biggest cause of long-term health issues in the construction industry? A. Slipping and tripping. B. Being struck by a vehicle. C. Breathing in hazardous dust and fumes. Or D. Loud noises.
Someone near you is using noisy equipment and you have no hearing protection. What should you do? A. Leave the area until you have the correct personal protective equipment, or PPE for short. B. Ask them to stop what they're doing. C. Speak to their supervisor. Or D. Carry on with your work. You're not the person using the equipment after all.
You think you have found some asbestos. What is the first thing you should do? A. Stop work and warn others. B. Take a sample to your supervisor. C. Find the first aider. Or D. Put the bits in a bin and carry on working.
How did you find those questions? The answers were: for question 7, the answer was C. Dust and fumes are the biggest culprits for causing long-term health problems. For question 8, the answer was A. You'd need to leave the area and get the correct PPE. And for question 9, the answer was A. If you thought you'd found asbestos, you must stop immediately and warn your team. It's very important to get it checked.
Let's talk now about how our courses could work for you and what you can expect from us. All of our courses follow a basic pre-employment training plan, which involves the course itself and employment support after the course finishes. We have 3 options for the courses: multi-trades, heavy plant, or highways. Don't worry, we'll talk about what each of those 3 options are later in this webinar. All of the courses will include the CSCS element and will then have trade-specific training as well. Most of the courses are full-time and run for 2 weeks. After the course, we'll then start your employment pathway. You'll be allocated a coordinator who will support you with your work options and/or further training like work experience. Once you start your job, we'll then stay in touch for support and to check that you're managing to sustain the employment.
If that first course pathway isn't quite right for you because you've already got experience of working in construction and just need help getting back into it, then we've got an alternative pathway that may suit you better. If you've already had a CSCS card or have recent work history in a trade, you could pursue our higher level option. If you need a specific license, for example, a forward tipping dumper ticket, after which you'll then be able to secure a job that you've been offered, then we can make that happen and arrange for you to access a course fully funded. We'll also renew your CSCS card if it's expired. We'll then progress you to the employment pathway stage, and then, just like in the first course option, your coordinator will support you into a job, and we'll stay in touch after you start. We'll reach out now and again to see how you're getting on and whether you're still in the role.
You see this label on a substance at work. What should you do? A. Find out how to use the substance safely, as it could explode. B. Dispose of the substance or contents by burning. C. Find out how to use the substance safely, as it is flammable and could easily catch fire. D. Warm up the contents first with heat or a naked flame.
How should you stand if you need to lift a load from the floor? A. With your feet slightly apart, one leg slightly forward and knees bent. B. With your feet together, legs straight and bent back. C. With your feet together and knees bent in a deep squatting position. D. With your feet wide apart, legs straight and back bent.
What does this sign mean? A. Do not walk under the scaffold. B. Do not access the scaffold because it is incomplete or not safe. C. Do not work on the first lift of the scaffold. Or D. Do not bump across any gaps in the scaffold.
Well, that was the last round of questions. Let's check those answers. Question 10 was answer C. This symbol means it's a flammable substance, so you need to check how to use it safely before you start using it. Question 11 was answer A. Safe manual handling is so important, so it's really important to get your stance correct. And question 12 was B. It means that the scaffolding is incomplete. It's not yet safe to use.
So how did you get on with those practice questions? The pass mark on the real test is 90%, so you'll have needed to get 11 out of these 12 questions correct to pass the real thing.
Please don't worry if you didn't do great on that test. It was just a practice. We do a lot more learning and classroom time on a real course. But like driving, construction is a lot more based on theory than most people think.
So now let's find out some more about the courses we offer through the Construction Skills Fund.
What will the multi-trades course cover? Our multi-trades courses are designed around general builder's skills. The content varies across the county, but we often cover plastering, tiling, plumbing, bricklaying, carpentry/joinery and paving. You'll receive either taster sessions in multiple trades or a longer period of training in one specific skill, such as skin plastering. The trades covered in the multi-trades courses are always in demand, especially on housing developments and hotel builds. You'll need to be good with your hands and happy to get mucky. General tradespeople are key to the finishing touches in any building, and each day is different for them.
What will heavy plant cover? Heavy plant in the construction industry is the general name for large machinery, like diggers, tippers, forklifts, dumpers and excavators. Plant is used to move and shape the earth and foundations of a building or demolition. Plant must only be operated by those who are trained, authorised and competent, so our courses will make sure you have the correct skills and knowledge for this. There is a huge demand for certified plant operators in the UK, so our courses in heavy plant will give you the knowledge and authorisation to operate a specific machine.
Highways courses are also often referred to as streetworks courses. In this course, we would be covering the skills and learning needed to work safely in the construction of roads, streets, highways and pathways in England. Our course would train you towards a NRSWA qualification. This qualification can cover lots of different skills, from laying concrete to installing traffic lights and signage. There is always demand for workers who can carry out their specialist duties to a high standard, which makes the ever-changing network of highways in the UK safer for road users and pedestrians.
Michael, Ben and Jamie are three brothers who live in Hart. They have been unemployed and job hunting for a really long time, so they attended a CSF course and gained their streetworks tickets and their CSCS cards. Dara Keegan is a contracts manager at Landmark Construction, and he supported us by attending the brothers' graduation ceremony at the end of their course. He was impressed by their work ethic, and so he offered them a job as ground workers. On the brothers' first day, their van broke down. Determined though, they pushed the van the whole way to work. Despite their lateness, the brothers' dedication impressed their new employers, and thanks to their professionalism and commitment, all three have made great impressions on the team, and Landmark is keen to offer them further training and support with help towards their future career goals.
Well, thank you for sticking with us throughout the webinar. You clearly ooze stamina, and that sort of commitment and dedication is just what we're looking for on the Construction Skills Fund. What did you learn? Maybe you scored very well and you're all prepped and ready to go. Maybe you didn't do so well. Not to worry, that's exactly what our courses are here for, to help you learn, improve and move forward in your career in construction. If you'd like to follow up or book a place on an upcoming course in Southampton, please use the email link that's shown in the webinar, csf@hants.gov.uk. We look forward to hearing from you.